and welcome to MIC TV. Today we're going to be discussing networking and team building, the three types of relationships musicians need to succeed. I'm your host, Greg Ferriola, along with my partner, TJ Peterson. And if this is your first time joining us, I'd like to welcome you to the MIC community. And for everyone watching, even if you're just going to be watching via replay, please say hello in the chat. Let us know your name, where you're from, the genre of music you play, basically anything you want us and our community to know. Today, again, we're going to be discussing networking and team building, the three types of relationships musicians need to succeed. Now, I'm sure you've all heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, throughout the history of the music industry, this saying has been extremely relevant. Why? Because there was a time in the music industry where you need to know the right people to have a music career. And if you're like me, you grew up on stories of artists and bands getting discovered and being plucked from their normal lives and turned into rock stars, where they received instant fame and fortune. But in today's industry, musicians no longer need to wait to be discovered. Each and every artist and band has the power and have been given the tools they need to build a successful music career without ever having to meet the right person or sign a record deal. Yet a lot of artists and bands still focus much of their effort on getting discovered. The only difference is this list has expanded beyond labels and now include people like playlist curators and shows like American Idol. In fact, I bet if you ask 100 musicians whether or not they need music industry contacts to have a successful music career, the majority are going to respond yes. And that's because we've all been programmed to believe that the only industry professionals can make you a successful musician. And this is simply not true. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't strive to work with people from the industry because they're great. TJ and I work in the industry and we're awesome. All I'm saying is to be realistic about what these people can provide, because no one is going to hand you a music career. And if someone ever offers you to do that, always run the other way, because it's just not what happens. Industry professionals don't possess magic. They simply have knowledge, experience, and contacts. And this is something TJ and I realized early, when we were working in the industry and, got to have a chance to peek behind the curtain and see what it was really like. And it's one of the many reasons behind why we created Musician Indie Coalition, because we believed we can come up with a system that could provide a professional, knowledge to musician experience and the contacts that they need at a cost that was affordable and allowed them to keep 100% control of their music career, which is what every artist deserves. Now, because I got lost my place here a little bit. Now, that being said, even though you no longer need to wait to meet the right person, personal relationships are going to be a crucial part of your career. Personal relationships can supply you with everything you need, from financial support to new fans, to creative collaborators, to professional expertise. It's simply a matter of identifying the types of contacts that you need, and I guess the order, and from, what kind of things that you're going to be looking for. And typically when you're looking for contacts and looking to network, you don't need to look any further than the people around you. Again, now, which brings us to today's topic, the networking and team building, the three types of relationships musicians need to succeed. Now, I'm going to give you, along with TJ, a brief PowerPoint presentation on this topic. But before we get to that, I just want to share some quick thoughts about networking. Now, as I've already said, people in personal relationships are what the music industry is built on, and they play a pivotal role in your career. This means in order for you to be successful, you're going to need to be able to form and maintain meaningful personal relationships with people. Now, if you're a people person, this might come naturally to you. If you're not, you're going to need to either develop that skill or have a partner or someone in your band that will be able to do that for you. Regardless, building your audience, team, and business contacts will come from networking. Now, every person that you know in your life right now, from fans to club owners to industry professionals, come with an opportunity for you to improve your career. So it's important that you develop a system for creating, nurturing, and maintaining your personal relationships, both in person and online. And there's one more point that I want to make before we start the PowerPoint presentation. If you're just starting out, you don't need to fill your team and network with professionals right away. This is something that you should work your way up to. Instead, you want to focus on working with people that are at your level, and dedicate your time to building up your reputation in your local music scene. All right. So on that note, we're going to go to the presentation and start by discussing what's involved when it comes to personal, like in-person networking. All right, here we go. Okay, so when networking in person, you need to first identify these two things. The type of contact you want to make and where to find them. Meaning, if you're looking for new fans, you'll accomplish this by playing live shows. If you're looking to connect with local bands, you'll first visit local venues. If you're looking for industry contacts, you're going to go to conferences or workshops. The point we're trying to make is if you need to set yourself up for success, and you can increase your chances of meeting the right people if you first identify the type of contact that you want to make, and then position yourself in a place where there's a high probability of you meeting them. Now, this might take some research, but it's worth doing your homework. Of course, there will be plenty of times throughout your music career where you'll randomly meet people, but why leave things up to chance if you don't have to? And tip, before you go out anywhere to network or even do things, online, always have business cards available so you can easily share your contact information and have your online presence in order. That way people, when they connect with you, can see everything about you and that you look professional. Also, when it comes to networking and connecting with people, don't dismiss anyone. Talk to bouncers, talk to bartenders and customers. You never know where your next opportunity for your career is going to come from. And a bartender today might be the club owner tomorrow. Now, when it comes to networking, here are the steps you should follow. The first thing you want to do is you want to meet someone and have a conversation. Now, when meeting someone for the first time, don't make it feel like a sales call or an interview. Your goal is to connect with someone on a personal level and make a friend. Now, step two, you want to have some questions prepared, because the last thing you want to do is walk up to someone and have absolutely nothing to talk about. So it's a good idea to have some icebreaker questions, such as, is this your first time coming here? Are you from the area? Basically, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then have questions that steer the conversation towards the purpose for networking. A good way to accomplish this is to ask someone the question that you want to be asked. For example, what brings you here tonight? What are your goals at this conference? And then once they answer, if they don't have a specific question for you in return, they're most likely going to copy your question. So, I'm here to see so-and-so perform. How about you? And then you'll have the ability to kind of talk to them about exactly what you want to talk to them about. Also, you always want to be prepared with your elevator pitch. So if someone asks you like what kind of artist you are, what does your music sound like, you can describe yourself in a brief, concise way that makes it easy for them to understand who you are and what your music is about, but then also piques their curiosity in a way where they're going to want to check you out. Now, step three in the networking process is to be appreciative. Respect the time and efforts of the people you interact with and thank them for speaking with you. Be attentive at all times. Do not be looking at your phone or in another direction. Also, you want to be brief. You never want to monopolize someone or be monopolized, especially if you're at a convention or workshop where the purpose of being there is to meet people, network, and collect contact information. Now, step four is, in my opinion, the most crucial part of networking: following up. When you meet someone that you truly connect with, always be sure that you exchange contact information. And then once you walk away from them, we recommend immediately jotting down notes on where you met and what you discussed. You should do this right away, even on the back of the business card if there's room. And then when you follow up with them, a week later, you'll have all the information and you can refresh your memory easily about what you talked about. And then you can send them a nice thank you letter. And remembering everything you talked about will make them really feel special, because, if you go out to a conference and meet 1,000 people, if you can really remember exactly what you talked about, that is important. And then last but not least, you want to maintain the relationship. So following up shouldn't end just with one email or a social media connection. You want to look for opportunities to reconnect occasionally, but on an ongoing basis for the months and years that follow. And the reason why that's important is, maybe the contact that you just made is important for something that you're going to be working on, but not for the next year or so. But you don't want to cold call them a year from now. You want to maintain the relationship all along and be friends with them. That way, when it's time for you to actually need their support and their help, you can reach out to them without feeling like, oh man, I haven't talked to them in a few weeks, or I haven't talked to them in a couple of years. Man, I really need to talk to that person. That's why it's important to maintain relationships. Okay, so now when it comes to networking online, you won't always have the opportunity to meet people in person. So you need to be able to accomplish networking online. Now, as with in-person networking, the first thing you're going to need to do is identify the type of contact that you want to make and where you can find them. This will most likely be through social media or their website. Now, networking online gives you the ability to target anyone. So when you're identifying the type of contact that you want to make, you can also search for someone specific, but don't target super successful people. The chances are Paul McCartney isn't going to be DMing you back anytime soon. So you want to be focusing on artists and people that will. Now, once you know who you'd like to connect with, you want to follow them and become active in their daily online life. Comment, like, and share their posts. Then you want to wait for them to comment back. Be patient and try to work on building a true friendship. And this comes from being genuine in your intentions. People can tell, and trust me, TJ and I will both attest to this. You can tell when someone is just talking to you because they want something. So if you want to target a band, target one that you truly like. If you want to connect with a blogger, find someone who's writing that you truly and absolutely love. Being genuine will not only make you come across better, but you're going to enjoy following those people. When you're building your career, you want to be filling with people that you enjoy being around and really like, because if you have to wake up and I got to talk to that person, that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for people like, hey, I love talking to so-and-so. I love working with this person. So that's what you want to be looking for when you're building relationships online. Now, finally, when the time is right, you want to do them a favor, like volunteer at their next show or donate to their Patreon page or whatever it is, that might help them in their career. People are more likely to support you if you've taken the initiative to support them first. And that is a big, big thing. You're not going to ask someone to help you move if you haven't done something for them, if they haven't done something for you in the past, and vice versa. It's one of those things that you really want to be mindful of. All right, so once you have a strong following, a professional looking online presence, and a press kit, you can begin to build relationships with people from the industry. And again, before you begin to network, you want to identify the type of contact and where to find them. Now, you can begin by brainstorming on the types of people that will serve your need. Like when you're looking for industry professionals, are you looking for promotion? Do you need help mixing your album? Do you need a killer guitar solo for your song? And then once you identify what you're looking for, turn your focus specifically to finding out who can help you get that done. And if you plan on targeting someone specific, again, do some background research, learn about them, their career, and their interests. And then when networking, you'll come to find that most people enjoy talking about themselves. So have questions that relate to who they are and what they like, and this will help you to ensure the conversation goes well. From there, your goal will be to follow their career and slowly work on building a relationship with them over time. Now, once you feel you have a good rapport with them, you can then discuss what you're working on. And here is a really important tip. Unless you're asked, do not, and I repeat, do not hand an industry professional your music. It'll make them feel like that's the only reason you're talking to them, and they'll completely dismiss you and anything that you discuss. And this one, again, TJ and I can speak from experience. If we are talking, having a good conversation with somebody, and they're just like, oh, by the way, here, I want to give you my music. Sometimes it can feel like, oh, is that the only reason why you're talking to me for? That's not the kind of thing that you want to, that's not the kind of impression that you want to leave on somebody. You want to make people feel like you're talking to them because you genuinely like them. And again, you should genuinely like them if you're looking to work with them. All right, so here are some quick networking tips. First, there is no such thing as a bad contact. We've covered some of these things before. Use referrals. Conversations go way better when you have a common connection. And this is really big in the industry. If you know so-and-so and they introduce you to somebody else, it's going to be better because they're going to be saying like, hey, this person's okay, you can talk to them. Next is the power of a network is directly related to the size of the network. So the larger group of people that the more power that you have at your fingertips. And that's really important also. Again, you never want to hand CDs or your music to anyone unless you're asked. You want to have questions that get people talking about themselves. Be prepared in person and online to take advantage of every opportunity. This means if you have a business card, you have it ready. If someone says, great, send me your press kit, link, you want to make sure you have that available. And then again, always have your business card and your elevator pitch ready. All right. So now that we've established the importance of networking and how you do it, we are going to move on to building your team and industry contacts. And we're going to begin by discussing the difference between partners and team members. Now, there are two types of partners. There are business partners and there are strategic partners. Now, business partners are the people who are engaged in the same activities and have the same goals as you, such as your band members. You each share the burden of building and maintaining your career and are responsible for paying your portion of the business expenses. Your success and your failure is 100% dependent on your ability to work together and your efficiency at overcoming career challenges. On the flip side, strategic partners are businesses you have relationships with for mutually beneficial purposes, meaning you and your strategic partner share resources and contacts to help each other develop your business and to provide a competitive edge to one another. An example of a strategic partner would be another band or an artist that's willing to promote your music to their fans in exchange for you doing the same. Another example would be a sponsor. A sponsor would use your relationship to promote their brand and product to their customers, and vice versa. You would do that to your fans. And in turn, you again would be financially compensated for that and exposed to everyone that they know within their network. And maybe even potentially some other perks depending on the deal that you have with the sponsor. Now, the third type of person that you're going to know in your inner network is going to be your team members. And your team members are your staff. They are people that either volunteer or you pay to help you with your day-to-day operations. Now, team members may advise you or provide you with feedback on your career, but don't share the types of responsibilities or have the decision-making power that your business partners have. Now, examples include that everyone from your attorney to your social media manager. Now, let's discuss when to add a team member. Now, building a team is a lengthy process, so you don't want to rush to add team members. Your first job is honestly going to be to learn all the aspects of your business so that you understand what it takes to build and maintain your career. Then at some point during this process, you're going to start working on growing your audience and income, which will in turn increase your daily activities, your expenses, and then hopefully eventually your income. Your goal throughout this period, will be to keep your expenses low while maximizing your income, and again, to maintain all your responsibilities to your fans while minimizing your work time, which sounds hard, but it is possible to do that. Now, no matter how successful you are at this process, eventually, at some point in time, you're gonna need to get help. So it's important to know when to add a team member, and there are essentially 3 reasons to add a team member. The first is when your responsibilities are too much to handle and you can't come back on your workload. The second is when you're too busy working to create music. The whole point of you having a music career is to create music. So if you're spending so much time on all your business responsibilities that you can't sit down and write a song or practice, then it might be some time for you to figure out how to delegate some of your workload to somebody else. And third, when you come in contact with a task that's too big for you to learn, for example, legal or accounting. Now, when you encounter these issues, you should first try to get someone to volunteer to help you, such as a friend, family member, or a fan, or maybe even try to find a strategic partner that might be able to alleviate some of your responsibilities. The reason why you want to do that is because as an artist, you want to try to keep your budget as low as possible and lower your expenses. Now, if these solutions don't work, then you might have to actually consider hiring someone that will work within your budget. Now, if that is the fact, here are some questions that you want to ask yourself before hiring somebody. The first one is, what are going to be the pros and cons of hiring that person? Create a list. Next, how much time will hiring someone actually save you? You really want to think that through, because if it's not actually really going to save you all that much time and you're going to spend more time overseeing them and questioning what they're doing, then that's not going to be worth bringing someone on to help you. Third, will hiring someone allow me to expand and increase my income? That's a big one. Like if you're going to take the time to actually pay somebody, is bringing them on going to allow you to make more money so you can cover that expense? 4 is it a task that's too big to learn? Again, like legal or accounting. Is it a task that requires a skilled artist, like a photographer or a graphic designer? And then another important question is going to be, is it within your budget to actually hire somebody? Now, tip, when you want to hire someone, working with anyone, always try to get referrals or check their references. Before you work with anyone, you really want to know the kind of person that you're working with. So this is a really important thing. Also, too, if you're going to get volunteers to work with you, you don't want to place a volunteer in an essential role in your career where the work quality and accountability are important. For example, like your website manager. Now, it might not sound like a big deal to have someone build your website and manage it for you, but if you are going to need to be updating it on a regular basis, we've had a lot of members that have had issues reaching somebody to get things done and not understanding the process themselves. So you really want to think about, before you put someone into a role, what happens if you can't reach them or you need something. And if you're not paying them, it's really hard to get upset with them or angry, because at the end of the day, again, they're doing you a favor. So just keep that in mind. All right. Next, here is a brief list of some team member roles. Now, these roles are going to be varied based on your unique career. And we're just going to go over them briefly. So as a musician, there are going to be certain production roles. You're going to need a website builder, a manager, a graphic artist, video creator, photographer. You're going to figure out like what producer or recording engineers you're going to work with. You're going to need people to master and mix your songs. And then maybe even session musicians if you don't have a band. From a promotional side of things, you're going to need a social media manager, a marketer. Again, that probably will be you in a lot of these roles. And you may even consider getting a PR agent or publicist. On that second one, I'm going to, and TJ and I will always warn you to watch your budgets and watch how much you're paying them and make sure that it's actually worth paying for the PR. Typically, we recommend getting a PR person early in your career because it doesn't really bring you in a solid audience. It just gets you a bunch of followers, maybe, if you're lucky. It typically never turns into actual financial payment to you through those people. So you never recoup what you spend. The next is administrative roles. And this is typically overlooked by a lot of people, but it's important. You may need a business manager one day, a booking agent, someone to help you get to your shows, an entertainment lawyer, a music publisher, if you want to start getting your music placed in TV and film. You definitely are going to need an accountant and tax advisor. This is one of the first things that we got when we started our business. It's crucial that you have someone that really understands the finances behind your business, and then a bookkeeper, someone who's kind of keep track of your books. So in conclusion, networking is essential to the success of a music career. It's going to be it'll be how you build your audience, team members, and network of contacts. So be sure that you develop a system for creating, nurturing, and maintaining these relationships, both in person and online. And when developing your career, to ease your workload and expand your network of contacts, you can choose to work with business partners, such as your band members, strategic partners like bands or a sponsor, and team members that will help you with your day-to-day operations. Eventually, every artist will need to rely on a team to handle their workload. So when it comes time for you to form a team, we recommend choosing people, again, that you enjoy working with, and if at all possible, people that are willing to donate their time or trade their services with you. And finally, forming personal relationships with people costs you nothing and will pay off big when it comes to developing your career. So it's worth investing your time and energy in creating the strongest relationships you can, because in the end, these relationships will be the foundation and backbone of your music career. All right, so that's going to be our show for today. Everyone, now have a great day. And remember, we're always here if you ever need help. Thanks for watching. If you're truly serious about building a professional music career, then I recommend learning how to be successful by watching our video, How DIY Musicians Become and Stay Successful. You can find the link for it in the description below. It's filled with great information, and we even give you a free gift for watching. So you really can't go wrong. Anyway, check it out today. And please don't forget to subscribe.